Welcome back to another video from the world of EnglishExams.com. In this video, we are going to cover one of the 8 question types on the Ielts writing module. That will be, do you agree or disagree? So if this question type is given to you, how do you write the introduction? So that's what we are going to look at in this video, and in the subsequent videos I'm going to explain to you how to write the body paragraphs and how to frame a good conclusion for this essay question type. So do stay tuned to this space and do subscribe to our channel to get the latest updates. So with that, let's get started with today's video by understanding what are the different types of essays that can be seen on the Ielts writing exam. Yes, so as you can clearly see on the screen, these are the various types of essays, out of which one would be given in the main exam. So the first one is discuss both views, then we have discuss both views and give your opinion, then there is do you agree or disagree, that we are going to cover in this video, and there is an extent to which you have to agree or disagree. Then there is two-way question, what are the advantages and disadvantages, and do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Then there is problems and solutions, causes and effects, etc, etc. So now that there are so many different types of essays, what is that one reliable source where you can find all the relevant information? Yes, so the answer is World of English Exams. So do stay tuned and subscribe to our channel if you did not subscribe till now, and do ring the bell icon. So with that, let's understand what are the various steps that you need to follow while writing this essay type, that is agree or disagree. Here your opinion is very important because the question prompt itself is telling us, do you agree or disagree? So clearly your opinion is being asked. So you have to make a choice whether you are towards the agreement side or towards the disagreement side. And another important point is that you just have two options here, either to completely agree or to completely disagree, which means you cannot partially agree or partially disagree here. Okay, so then also avoid word contractions like isn't, doesn't, won't, etc. So all these are not allowed in this essay because it must look formal. And avoid repeating or overusing the same words. So that is called redundancy, and it's not so great with our essay. Avoid repeating the exact words as given in the question prompt. So try to use synonyms and try to perform paraphrasing. And yes, that reminds me of the latest video that we have released on the different ways of paraphrasing that I am going to relink in the description box. So I have explained what are the 5 different ways to paraphrase a given statement by taking real Ielts questions as examples. So do check out that video as well. And yes, it is very essential in this essay to generate the ideas that are relevant to the question, and this is called coherence. So coherence is nothing but you generate the ideas that relate to the topic on which you can further elaborate. And yes, we need to use the appropriate discourse markers or linking words and organize our points in a logical sequence. So one sentence should lead to the second sentence. That is logical sequencing, which is called cohesion. Now these are some of the steps that you need to follow. Now here is the secret strategy for the Ielts writing, which is called power strategy. So this is a 5-step method that can help us to write a brilliant band 9 essay. The first step is planning. Then the second step is organizing, then writing, evaluating and reviewing and recounting. So do not directly start writing because this will lead to a lot of confusion. So always plan what to write and how to sequence your ideas logically, and write a minimum of 250 words. Okay, so now having understood all the various things that are required, let's also look at the template. So this is how the essay should look. It should have an introduction and body paragraphs followed by a conclusion. So if you skip any of these, then definitely your score will be greatly reduced. So it's very important to have a perfect introduction a well logically sequenced body paragraphs followed by a good conclusion. Now, how to write the introduction? The introduction should be a perfect start for the essay. So here the introduction should be so very well written that it should give a good impression in the mind of the examiner. So the more clear you are in expressing your view in the introduction, the better your body passages can be. And as you know, a good start often leads to a good end. So it shows how very well you are organized and how well you can present your views to the reader. And always imagine that the reader or the person who is going to correct your essay knows nothing about the topic. So once you imagine that they are not aware of the topic, you need to give the justification and explanation in such a way that even a novice can understand the concepts very well. Now, avoid writing any hook statements or general statements, something like, all that glitters is not gold. So as you can clearly understand, such statements are informal, and of course they are a very good addition for our speaking module but not for the writing module. So never start a sentence with a general statement such as hook statements. Now, in this essay type, it is also very important that you state the opinion and the relevant points clearly in the introduction. Yes, so if at all the opinion is asked, not just for this question type but for the other questions as well, if at all they ask you to give your opinion, it is better to state your opinion as clearly as possible in the introduction as well as in the conclusion, because these are the 2 points which would start and end the topic, right? So it's better to include the opinion very clearly with relevant points if possible. So, and of course you're not supposed to be extending it, you're not supposed to be elongating the essay with all your ideas. No, that's not what we are looking at. We are looking at an introduction that introduces the topic to the reader. Now, having stated that, let's understand what are the different statements that you need to include under the introduction. Yes, so this slide picturizes the various parts of the introduction. So basically, as you can see, there should be 3 statements written while writing the introduction. So there should be 3 statements in your introduction. The first one, which I highlighted in yellow, is paraphrase the given question in your own words. That is, rewrite the given question in your own words. Here, again, as I told you, I will be linking the paraphrase video, and please go through that and understand the various ways to paraphrase a given question, and only then go to the next statement, that is known as the thesis statement. So once you have paraphrased the statement, you need to state what will be covered in the essay. This statement is called the thesis, which is, I must say, the very important part of the introduction. Without a thesis, the essay would not have a proper continuity. So it's always important to write a thesis statement after your paraphrase. So now, how should a thesis statement begin? The thesis statement should begin with a phrase like I completely agree or I totally disagree or something along those lines for this essay. For the various other essays, yes, I would be telling you how to write a good thesis statement, but as far as do you agree or disagree essay type is concerned, here is how you write it. I completely agree or I completely disagree, depending on that. And here you're also going to explain what are the reasons that made you to agree or disagree to a given question. So the more clear your explanation is, the more clear your points are, the better you score. Now, once you have established a good thesis and you have established the reasons for your agreement or disagreement, then the last statement in the introduction is called as an overview statement or the outline statement. So explain and outline what is the logical sequence of the points. Here you are going to explain what is the sequence. That is, what are you going to include in the first body paragraph and what are you going to include in the second body paragraph. So this is known as a logical, clear overview statement. So once, just to recapitulate, what are the three statements in the introduction? The first statement is known as the paraphrase. The second statement is called the thesis. The third statement is called the overview. So paraphrase with thesis and overview would be a perfect introduction, and this 3-sentence structure can be followed for any essay question type. So, but the application part would differ, that I am going to talk about in my subsequent videos. So do check them out. Now, I will take an example question from the Cambridge papers and I am going to tell you step by step, sentence by sentence about how you can frame a good introduction. So what are we waiting for? Let's continue. Yes. So this is the sample question. Let's read the given question and then let's write the introduction statement by statement. Some people believe that criminals who commit minor crimes should be made to do some unpaid community work rather than jailing them. Do you agree or disagree? So what is the essay about? It is about the type of punishment that should be given to those criminals who commit minor crimes. That means they are not serious offenses, they are just petty crimes. So for these criminals who commit such minor crimes, the procedure for punishment should not be too harsh. Okay, so rather than jailing them or putting them behind bars, there are alternate forms of punishment, one of which is making them do some unpaid community work, so that not just the community would get benefit and not only the government would derive the benefit, but also maybe it should help the criminals realize their misdeeds, and maybe it would act as a strategy to self-correct themselves. So this is what I understand from the given prompt. And how do I write the introduction for this? Now the first statement is known as the paraphrase of the question, and here I have adopted the technique of using synonyms along with using the sentence structure in a different way. So now let's see. It is believed by some individuals. So instead of telling some individuals believe, here I have written it is believed by some individuals that felons, so it is a paraphrase for criminals who commit petty crimes should be made to do certain tasks as a part of unrewarded community services. Unrewarded, yes, it is a paraphrase for unpaid, as opposed to incarcerating them. Now I know I have used a couple of verbs that are quite difficult for you to understand at this point of time, but yes, I am going to give their meanings in a separate video, as well as I am going to also list them in our blog and on our website www.worldofenglishexams.com. So this is the paraphrase of the statement, that it is believed by some individuals that felons who commit petty crimes should be made to do certain tasks as a part of unrewarded community services as opposed to incarcerating them. Now how do I frame the thesis statement? So now I should brainstorm. I should first form a clear idea in my mind as to whether I am agreeing to the statement or whether I am disagreeing to the statement. So to my mind, it is legitimate. I feel that it is right because the level of crime decides the punishment. This is what my view say. So now how do I write the thesis statement? I completely agree with the given statement, as such unpaid community service activities would be much more behooveful for the government. So what is my first point why I am agreeing? It is that it will be behooveful or advantageous for the government. Now that should be ideally my body paragraph number 1. So that is what is the point that I cover in the first body paragraph. Additionally, which means I'm now talking about what I'm going to talk in the second body paragraph. Additionally, this indicates unpaid activity. This would also make these lawbreakers, that is a synonym for criminals, lawbreakers feel contrite about their misdeeds. So it would make them repent for their misdeeds or wrong actions. Now this is my thesis statement. Here I am clearly stating my opinion that I am completely agreeing, and also I am putting forth two relevant ideas to support my opinion. What are they? That the government would derive benefit, and not only that, there would be a sense of guilt that is invoked in the mind of the criminals. So for these reasons I am going to agree to that. So my reader is now understood how and why am I agreeing to that. Now the general overview would be something like this. In this essay I will espouse to this view, that is I'll support this view, and I will elaborate my views with relevant examples in favor of the argument. So whatever point I am agreeing to, what am I going to do? I am going to elaborate or elucidate my views with relevant examples. So that is how I introduce the topic. Now let's sum up all these sentences into a paragraph, and yes, you should not write bullet points or any sort of side headings. So the introduction would look like this. It is believed by some individuals that felons who commit petty crimes should be made to do certain tasks as a part of unrewarded community services as opposed to incarcerating them. I completely agree with the given statement, as such unpaid activities would be much more behooveful for the government. Additionally, this would also make these lawbreakers feel contrite about their misdeeds. In this essay, I will espouse to this view, and I will elaborate my views with relevant examples in favor of my argument. So this is how a band 9 introduction would look. Now I'll also show you the other ways in which you can write the same introduction. Yes, we should practice writing the introduction in many ways. So we should find out what is the best possible way that would work out for us in the main exam. So for that I am giving you a total of 3 ways of writing the introduction. The first of which we have just seen. Now the second one is where I am starting the paraphrase with a gerund. What are gerunds? Gerunds are those verb forms that carry an ing form at their end. So how to start that introduction? Imprisoning the lawbreakers for minor offences is not a recommended practice as believed by some. So this is the paraphrase. The next continuity of the paraphrase is, they feel that these criminals should be made to work for the community without paying them. Without paying them is nothing but unpaid. Now my thesis statement. I completely concur with this statement because it would aid the government in cutting the costs. Cutting the costs is nothing but saving the revenue. Cutting the cost, and also in stimulating a sense of repentance in the offender's minds. This essay will put forth the ideas with substantial evidence in favor of this view. The last statement corresponds to the general overview. So this is the second way of writing the introduction. Now let's look at the third possible way. Some individuals feel that it is not legitimate to put petty criminals behind bars. So behind bars is nothing but jailing them. They suggest that such offenders should be made to do certain non-paying community tasks, as this will save the revenue for the government, in addition to invoking a feeling of repentance in these offenders. Offenders are nothing but criminals. I will discuss my viewpoints with appropriate examples in the body paragraphs. So these are the 3 possible ways in which you can introduce the topic, and as you can see, I have included certain uncommon vocabulary words here that would definitely shoot up my score for lexical resource. because we need to show a wide range of vocabulary to the examiner, and as such this is one of the ways to do that. Not all words should be uncommon though, so that should be borne in mind. Now I hope this video covered the various steps and measures that are to be taken while writing the introduction for the essay prompt. Do you agree or disagree? Now I'll end the session here, and in the next video I'm going to talk about how to write the body paragraphs for this, and also how to frame a logical conclusion. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you like this video, do give this a huge thumbs up, and your likes and shares are very valuable for us. And do comment and let me know as to how you like the video. Do share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to World of English Exams for more interesting and latest videos. So till I see you with the next video, happy preparation!